Hey, Printusters, welcome back to the weekly, a really awesome, weekly, damn it, hold on, let me restart that. We don't have an intro for this one. Hey guys, welcome back to the weekly, a really cool newsletter Luke Gardner out of Printavo puts together, and producer Chris helps to collaborate on the video and audio side to really be able to share all the industry announcements, things that's coming out of Printavo, things that's coming and changing in the space, of which there's actually quite a bit here, and then also some really cool research as well. So subscribe to it. You got a link in the description as well. All right, Mr. Luke, I'm turning over the table to you.
All right. Thanks, Bruce. First things first, I have an ask. Please fill out our industry survey. We do one every year. It's super awesome, kind of like keeps tabs on the industry and what happens. We did a great report on it last year too. So head to printavo.com/blog/survey. It takes 2 seconds. I'm not going to give you a $250 Amazon gift card or anything sweet like that. Just do it out of the goodness of your heart for us, please. So yeah, let's jump right in. This week I wrote about how to make more money in your print shop. And I mean, this is kind of the point of a business, right? Make money. Has lots of nice knock-on secondary effects for everyone. People live nice lives, have jobs, they get to buy nice products. Lots of businesses pop up to serve, different ancillary little niches for people. This is kind of the story of capitalism, right? It's a nice story. But you really need a lot more clarity when you say, hey, I want to make more money in 2022. You really have to define exactly how you're going to do that and exactly how that's going to look and what that means for your specific business. Now, that seems really obvious, and it probably is. But think about it. One shop's version of making more money is we're going to order another press. We're going to increase the throughput in our shop by 40%. We're going to bang out all these orders. We're just going to go really big, really far, really fast. For another shop, they might be actually, we're going to sell our press and cut way back on how much we're printing and try to find a good contract partner because this is too much for us. We can't hire the right people. We don't want to do this anymore. And for a third shop, maybe it's something kind of crazy, we're just going to focus on this one band that's going to absolutely blow up this year and just serve them because they have boosted our business really high. So you can see there's a lot of ways that this could go, but the thing to do is to pick a few little improvements to make and then push up really hard on those. There's one thing that making more money absolutely can't be and shouldn't be, and that's just generating more revenue and not making more profit. So with that in mind, let's dive into the first point here. The first point is that cash flow is really important. So cash flow. Look into profit first. If you don't know Mike McAllowitz, we've got a great video that he did at Print Hustlers Conference in 2019. That was just his whole thing, right? The whole spiel. Bruce, I know you remember that. It was mind blowing.
Huge. Just an hour, 15 minutes of his presentation of, just as owners, we always pour so much back into the business, but how to stop doing that, right? It's almost an addiction, but really, really good stuff. Everybody's, I think, heard of Profit First, but if you're not following it and you set up the different bank accounts, it definitely helps. So
I think the really cool thing about Profit First is it takes away the sort of human fallibility aspect of being a business owner where maybe you're in a bad mood one day and you go look at the books and then you start making kind of stupid decisions or you start getting really angry because the account doesn't look the right way or there's not enough money. It kind of makes profit cruise control. It's the money just goes where it goes and you're not there to steer the ship with that particular mood that you're in that day. And I think that's really the power of Profit First for cash flow is it puts the money in the right place on autopilot.
Definitely. The second thing too is that Luke pulled from, and what's really neat is a lot of these things are things that people are just doing. And so we're pulling together all the best things from different shops, but minimum prices. Honestly, we had a guest that was talking about how you're not going to go, let's say you need to redo your sidewalk in front of your house. You're not going to ask a company that builds highways to redo your sidewalk. They're going to quote you $10,000, a square foot or something ridiculous to get them and their time to go out and do it. I mean, they've scaled past that point. And when you're starting small, obviously you've got to be able to take the small jobs to build up your book of business. But instead of having minimums, we're talking about minimum dollar amounts.
I absolutely love this idea. It's so simple and powerful, and like kind of one of those things where you hear it and you're like, I can't believe I didn't think of that first. But like, think about how these conversations go. Like somebody's like, oh, I want to order like 7 shirts. And you're like, oh, well, we can't do that because like our minimum is like 24. And you have this weird conversation back and forth where you're like trying to kind of hassle someone into ordering 24 shirts they don't want. It's like what a weird back and forth. Instead, you can just be like, hey, you want 7 shirts? That's great. You know, we have a $350 minimum order. Here's some other things you could order to meet the minimum. And it's like, that's just it. Like, you either play the game or you go. You know, you don't have this weird back and forth. So I think what's interesting about this is that a lot of people actually take the $350 deal. They're like, oh, yeah, actually, you know what? I can spend that much. You know, that's cool. Whereas, like, you're trying to sell them a shirt, they don't really understand the value of it. It kind of gets confusing. So this is like a huge way to not only save time, but like literally make more money on small orders, is just be like, hey, we have a minimum price, hit it or hit the road.
Raising prices, this is no secret. Everybody's gotten hit by inflation this year, or just supply chain constraints. I mean, November 2021, we're recording this in December now, but inflation was 6.8%. You know, it's harder to get inks. It's harder to get apparel. You know, you keep your prices flexible with that. And the positive thing is your customers actually used to price changing right now too. Take advantage of it. Your wages are also going to balloon up too. So, you know, use this as an opportunity to get comfortable with it. I remember freelancing and then running the small shop, and it was just like, you feel so bad about giving a price. I'm sure, Luke, from, you know, your past on the freelancing side too, it's just, you're like, oh God, you almost cut yourself down before you even give the price. But it's a good opportunity, at least annually, review it, take a look at it. Once we move past this rapid inflation period right now, is to make sure this is a really good January 1st opportunity. Next big one, 100% down.
Yeah, you're not a bank. Like, why do people think print shops are banks and they can get like a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day loan for like thousands of dollars of garments and work? Like, what? Why is that? What? Like, no other industry does that does like custom work like this. Like, you don't call the guy who's going to deliver your furniture and be like, yeah, we'll pay you in 60 days. You know, thanks for the couch. Appreciate it. The irony of this, though, and this is, we always get pushback on this, and I totally understand, which is like, the biggest, most powerful customers like CVS and like, you know, a big corporation that comes to you for thousands of garments for their marathon or something, like they're going to want terms, and they're probably going to want the worst possible terms like for your business. So I don't know. You're not a bank. Get the money down. Get 100% down with as many customers as you can. And maybe if a few of them need terms, But
I think COVID pushed so many people in this direction, which is great. You know, and if you're not, I've actually seen a lot of shops that say that schools have shifted and been able to not do terms. But, you know, I don't think that's just a thing that I've been hearing. Absolutely pushing those customers, even if they're historical customers. It's like things are changing. This is something that we have to do. 80-20, you know what's interesting is that how they say 80-20 rule, 80% of your business comes from 20% of your customers, and then dropping the bottom, the kind of pain in the ass customers. It may not just be even pain in the butt customers. It may also be just customers that aren't really generating much business for you. And, you know, it could be 30 shirts here and 30 there and just not exciting. It's funny. We actually just got dropped from our freight company that we use to ship to trade shows because they were cutting their bottom 10 or 15% or something sales wise of their customers just to focus on the bigger ones and find more of those. Pissed me off, but I guess I understand. This is what we're talking about.
Yeah, it puts us in a tight spot, but it's like there's a freight company that will serve us too, where we're going to be their bread and butter, you know. I mean, the implications of the 80-20 rule are ridiculous. You could just stop serving 80% of your customers and probably only lose 20% of your top line business. Like, what?
You know, and I think when people start, though, you have to, you just take everything. But when you grow to scale, and I think this is 1 million plus is when this starts happening, is you don't have the time to do things that took you, that you did to get to 1 million. Like things just shift. And it may be even 500,000, but it's a really significant shift. how you manage the business, how you're there day to day, what you're doing, who you're hiring, the type of people you're hiring. And this is one aspect of it too. Solving the same problems.
Yeah, this is something inspired by Mark Kudre. Because Mark Kudre has a great point about pricing, which is that everyone in the business is trying to find a way to price their goods that covers kind of like the cost of goods and everything in their shop, and like, you know, tells them like, I'm making this much profit based on the inputs, and here's the price for the t-shirt. He's like, that's great, but that's sort of step one. Step two is like, get really good at solving specific problems for a specific type of customer, and then you can charge whatever you want. So the way I think about this is like, you don't want to just have lookalike customers. You want to have like lookalike problems. Like, you don't just need to find a baseball team because you have a baseball team that you're really good at serving. You need to think about like, okay, what are the problems I solve for this baseball team? Like, I probably help them find the right garments. I get it to them on time. I help them like manage art and names and do all the different things that are involved with administering this kind of complex process. So who else has a similar complex process where I can provide a lot of value? So it's like you're looking for lookalike problems. And I love this idea because it's really how to unlock a lot more money coming into your business is solving like a really powerful set of problems for the right people.
Next up, we've got customer education. You know, I think this even goes further into coaching. I think there's a sense that, you know, oh, we're supposed to know everything and we're supposed to do everything. It's okay to get a coach. Get a business coach that's grown a business 5 times the way you are. Doesn't even have to be in our space. Ask them, hey, how would you think about this? Where should I be at in a year? And it helps really provide a level of looking behind the curtain in a way that makes you think about things to not get so bogged down by some of these details. I think the other thing too is I've been seeing a lot more production manager coaches coming out and production coaches to come get people fired up and get out of our silos. It's a good investment. It's an investment in the team. It's an investment in re-education. And I don't know, maybe it deserves a budget, but you know, get started. Try one person, whether it's a Matt Marcotte here with us or Ryan Kasperian or Mark Kudre or Marshall Atkinson, somebody, right? Good investment, pays off.
So I think like we've really thrown a lot of spaghetti at the wall in this conversation, but it's funny because we've really only covered maybe 30% of the ideas that we've talked about over the past 2 weeks in this newsletter. There's just so many strategies for like making more money. The point is you have to kind of pick one or a few that feel like they're going to really work for you and just shoot right at that target. You know, Bruce, you always say shoot bullets, not cannonballs. And I just love this idea of picking like a narrow target and shooting right at it. Don't just think I'm going to make more money in all aspects of the business. It's just going to flourish everywhere. I mean, maybe that could happen. It definitely could. But it's more likely that you'll pick a couple small areas and really improve them. I mean, whether it's something like customer education, just making your input, like your sales input process super clean, or just, you know, keeping the employees happy by giving them bonuses and time off and realizing that like that's going to help you make more money. I mean, we covered a ton more ideas on the newsletter. You can check it out at printavo.com/blog/newsletter. And, you know, I just think this is like the biggest thing for the next year is pick your battle and start shooting at it.
Thanks, guys, for listening to the weekly. Join in, sign up on the link down in the description. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.